want to welcome all of you again to another lecture in our Alumni Leadership Lecture Series. The speaker today is Dr. Madhavan Ramamurthy. He's BTech Metallurgy from IIT Madras in 1988. So he's part of the batch that's going to have their reunion this December. And he did his master's in physics from Brown University in 1989. And his PhD also in physics from Rutgers University in 1994. So I'm sure some of our physics faculty over here will be happy to hear that. He is currently Vice President at Bank of America Continuum India, and he's based out of Hyderabad. He has 20 years of experience in research, architecture, development, and delivery of software solutions in varied domains: retail, financial, telecom, semiconductors, etc. But his focus has been on the e-commerce platform. And I understand that his physics training has come in very useful in his e-commerce work. So I'm sure he will explain that in his talk. So I invite Dr. Ramamurthy to deliver his address.
Yeah, so good afternoon, and thanks for gathering for this presentation. So again, I won't speak too much about myself. I want to thank Professor here for introducing me. It's a great opportunity. I think for any of us, it's very humbling to be back in the same institution where we studied. So, you know, at one point, maybe around 30 odd years ago, I was like you, coming to lectures, and whether they were class lectures or such informative lectures, trying to find out what was going on. So when I had this opportunity, I want to thank Mr. Suresh here for advertising this for alumni, especially who had worked abroad, to come and speak. I want to take this opportunity to share with you my learnings in the field of e-commerce. So I got, just a quick recap is, post my study here, I went abroad for higher studies and research in the area of solid state materials. But the research was heavily using computer simulations, you know, complex numerical algorithms, high performance computing, and that's how I came into IT. But then somewhere in the late 90s, I got sucked into e-commerce. It was a pretty hot area. I started working at AT&T, then I worked in a .com, which sadly, instead of making me rich, it went bust. You know, then I worked in a couple of other companies before I returned to India in 2008. But one thing I think why I feel e-commerce is a very challenging, very interesting area to work is it keeps me on my toes, because technology trends here move fast. Though the essential customer experience has not changed, there's just a lot of change that happens in terms of, you know, what are the transactions, what is the experiences driven to an online platform, you know, what is e-commerce trying to do per se, you know, what do you as a retail customer or as an individual want out of an e-commerce channel. So these expectations are constantly evolving, and somebody like me who works on the technology side has to constantly keep up to speed with what are the expected functionalities, what are the various channels, you know, what are the pros and cons of various ways of creating or supporting an e-commerce site. And over the last, say, 15 plus years, I worked for multiple Fortune 500 companies in consulting projects where, in certain cases, it's a B2B e-commerce site, but a typical transaction could be a sourcing transaction, could take weeks and run for like $100 million worth of amounts exchanged. In some cases, they were high volume websites where people come and rent videos, and you know, but they may have, like, say, 20 million users coming per month, and maybe at times like, you know, more than 1 million transactions per day. So I've seen the whole gamut, and based on it, what I thought was, you know, given that you're all in IIT Madras, I assume you're, as people told us 30 years ago, the cream of the cream. You know what's going on in the industry. So my goal is more to make you think, add some insights that I've learned, and let's keep it interactive. You know, I'll ask questions. Feel free to raise your hands if there's anything you want addressed, because I only prepared a few slides with a few bullet points, but my goal here is to make some kind of mental contact with you, because you folks are the ones, say, 10 years down the road, who are going to define commerce or the online experience, and it will be interesting to hear from you. So moving on, the agenda is going to be brief. I may or may not even cover all these various topics, and, you know, I'll keep it informal, so there may be some slides where I cover more than one of these topics. But essentially what I'll talk about is what are the major business priorities that are driving transformation of e-commerce platforms. You all know, you know, the famous e-commerce sites like Amazon.com, eBay, or, you know, even in India we have sites like Yatra.com or other sites coming up. Yahoo is a famous site. So there are different types of e-commerce sites. They have different objectives. Then I'll talk about the technology platforms. Then I'll talk about two different types of sites. So broadly, many e-commerce sites fall into two categories. Either they are content-based sites where they're informational, they're trying to get you interested in some product, they want you to get to know about the product. Very often they are driven by advertising revenues. And the type of experience a content-based site tries to give you. So autotrader.com is a famous example. So when you have some time, if you have online access, go and type autotrader.com. It used to be a magazine which would sell advertisements for cars. And then about 10 years ago, they made a website. I was actually involved as a chief architect for one of their transformational projects. And you'll be surprised how much revenue they can drive out of a website written using very simple technologies, Java, JSP, with a, say, 400-member technology team worldwide. They're driving enormous amount of revenue without doing a single transaction. It's all, how they give an ad, how they retain the customer, how they encourage lead generation, etc. On the other hand, you have transaction-focused e-commerce sites. So eBay, Amazon, they're all famous examples where the idea is you want to encourage a customer to come, search your product catalog, find exactly what they want. It should be competitive in price. You use various tools such as loyalty points to drive transaction volume. And here it is the opposite of a content-based site. You want to give a very quick, seamless experience to the customer that they come, they buy what they want, and they move on to the next transaction. So these are two diametrically opposite type of sites. Then we go to some topics like mobile enablement or social media integration, which I may not talk a whole lot about. So if I cover the first few topics, I'd be pretty happy. So what are the business trends in e-commerce? So, what is keeping organizations or even companies awake and engaged? Because many companies find, I keep up with analyst trends such as Gartner, Forrester, etc. And when many companies still feel that or find based on third-party data that they are still working on giving a seamless experience through channels. Meaning, let's say a customer like say Target or Walmart or any of these companies, they have say a large number of retail stores. Then they also have online stores. Then in some cases, they may also be enabled via mobile access. They are still working at giving a seamless experience where the same product or the same inventory is available across these various channels and somebody can come, browse, buy, and become a loyal customer. So the main point though is customers, not just for retail companies, the average individual is expecting organizations to be online enabled, meaning of late even government organizations are trying to get their documents, their processes online. And that itself is work in progress, meaning where, let's say, the tax collection system both in US and India, they're trying to become more online enabled. So customers can pay their tax or even penalties without necessarily going through a lot of paperwork. Mobility driven, people want that online experience with them wherever they are. And that wherever they are has become very aggressive these days. Because when I travel, especially on business, I'm able to see people do very complex tasks using some tablet computer, which say even a few years ago they would not have been able to dream of it. You would have thought you need a high power computer with a lot of firepower to enable such menus or some kind of behavior, but it's not true. So customers have found, companies have found ways of having the same e-commerce site give such and such experience if you log in through your home computer, such and such experience if you log in through a tablet, and a different experience if you log in through your mobile. So they're smart enough. So these websites, they're able to figure out what is your target device and use what they call a form factor to figure out what size of data they can push to you, what is the kind of UI they should push to you, etc. That itself is evolving. Revenue generated per click. This is very important. How many of you know that about a few years ago, eBay was losing a lot of business to Amazon? Does anybody know it or they don't know it? Do you know about eBay and Amazon? I hope you do. But see, eBay was one of the early comers to the market in terms of enabling small people or the average customer to come upload their catalog information and sell. Amazon was a very late comer in the game. But what they found is during the recession, the 2008-2009 recession, when a lot of people, especially people who were short of cash, they wanted to sell some of their goods quickly, they were more successful in Amazon actually, of uploading their goods and selling their goods. So what eBay stock went down because what analysts found is they've generated a lot of traffic, but they were not able to generate a lot of sales for these customers who want to come quickly and sell their goods. And why is it? Because what they found is in the recession time, even the buyers, they wanted to just bargain for a quick fixed price and sell goods. So the Amazon website and the processes for small customers were more set up for fixed price sales, whereas eBay was more set up for auctions. And when somebody really has a need of money and they want to liquidate some goods, they are more likely to go for someone who would sell at a fixed price through the kind of infrastructure Amazon had. So getting clicks, meaning getting customers to come to your site and navigate your site is not the whole story. You've got to generate revenue from that. Compliance and usability. Now, this has become a big topic, especially with financial companies like the one I work for, where you have to make sure your website has really in compliance with the latest financial regulations in that particular geography. Because different organizations, different countries could have very radically different regulations. And so when the same website, say on such and such credit card product or deposit scheme comes up, even if the bank has a branch there, a local branch complying with those regulations, they have to make sure the online information also captures all the terms and conditions appropriate to that. So compliance and the usability of that screen, meaning now it is very important across the globe to also enable, what they call challenged or handicapped customers or disabled also to use a website. So there are various tools for that. And that is also becoming a big deal these days in terms of website. So I'll just pause here. Let's take a quick vote. Is this at a right level, too high level, or what do you guys want? It's good, thumbs up. Okay, I'm getting thumbs up. It's too boring, thumbs down. Okay.